Welcome to another show of Don't Get This Twisted. I am Rob, along with my co-host as always, Tina. How you doing, Tina?
I'm hanging in there, Rob. How you doing?
Oh, little this, little that.
I hear you on that.
Yeah.
I took a day off today. I mean, I'm always off on Mondays when recording on Monday.
Mhm.
But I was on a 12-hour ride on the bike yesterday.
Yikes.
And I am spent, but God, was that fun. Froze my ass off a little bit, got a little too warm, went back and forth with different weather. It was cool. It was a good ride.
Nice. Can't complain too much. I mean, that is a hell of a ride, though. 12 hours.
Yeah. We went to San Luis Obispo, Pismo, Solvang, Fillmore. We were all over the place.
So you came back that direction and went inward.
Yeah. Well, we went out the 5 and then we cut across. There was this road that we took, and I can't remember the number, 58 or something like that.
It's like a bumfuck road.
Yeah, but it's so beautiful. And it's 70. I saw 72 miles, but then somebody else said it was 82 miles that you ride without there's no gas station. There's no help. It's like just dead area.
Yeah.
Most beautiful place I'd ever been to. Nothing but farms and open land and beautiful skies and scenery. So I took a bunch of pictures while I was out there.
Yeah, I took that road years ago to go do a service call during the fires because it was the only way to get out to where
past
I needed
them.
to go. Yeah. Pretty wild.
Yeah.
So this week we are going to talk forgiveness, right?
Okay.
Basically, to forgive or not to forgive, that is the question.
I think
that's and look, I think we need to go down the road of, what's involved in that. Why to or why not to, obviously based on whatever is happening or has happened. So, how do we start this? I will tell you, let's go with the morality part first. The morality part and the good Christian part is forgive everybody, right? Based around forgiveness is what we're supposed to do, right? We're supposed to forgive people because, heaven forbid, we are all human beings.
Right. And nobody is meant to be perfect. We're not put on this earth to be perfect.
No.
So you have to show a little bit of grace.
Correct. So I think, if we start there, and obviously forgiveness is what we should all do. I kind of want to throw that out there. But that being said, there's obviously things that people do to each other that are kind of unforgivable. Right. I think you'd have to kind of dig deep into that. Like, obviously, like we've talked about it a bunch of times, like cheating. I think cheating's one of those things where like, I wouldn't forgive, but I also wouldn't,
you wouldn't forget.
Well, I wouldn't forget, but I mean, I don't think I would just let things go. Right. I wouldn't forgive them for it because I think that's just a shitty thing, because I think you're better off just saying like, I want out of this before you get to that part. So, and those are like things that are so, that keep human beings together, right? If you're in that kind of relationship, once you show you can't be trusted, it's hard to forgive somebody. It's like stealing money from you, right? I think
I've been cheated on several times, and I have forgiven that, but it doesn't mean you're going to go back to life being the same way it was. I mean, it can't be.
Right.
Because it's funny, because a few times that I've been cheated on, they come back and they want to apologize. And I was like, why did I have to know this? Like, if this was something just for you and I didn't have to be a part of it and I wasn't doing anything wrong, I would have chose ignorance because it wouldn't affect me, right? It wouldn't affect me in any way. But once I found out and my feelings for them changed, I couldn't get it back. There was no getting it back.
Correct. I, but you did forgive.
I did.
See, I think that shows a lot about who you are.
Well,
I
you know what?
mean,
I look at what I could have done better. If normally when cheating occurs, it's because something has happened that whoever's cheating just feels like they're not having their needs met or something's going on. And I could look at a situation and say, well, yeah, I didn't do that perfectly, or I could have done that better. It doesn't mean that I'd want them back. Maybe it does. It just depends on where I'm at with things. But I try to forgive just because I know that everybody needs a little grace in their life from time to time, and not, there's not a good reason not to forgive, and there's not a good reason not to, or to give,
right,
to or not to. Yeah.
right.
But that doesn't mean that I want to go running back and live as if it never happened, because that you can't do. It hurts your heart too much.
Correct. Yeah, I think that there's something to that. I guess maybe because the times that I know that I've been cheated on, it's way, 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 way later.
Yeah.
So like, I think, I guess in one case, I would say I forgave it because I thought it was my fault or I had something to do with it. Where the other, I mean, look, we all have something to do with that, I guess, if you're really kind of putting to that.
Hmm.
But I just think that I've never really had it happen live. You know what I mean? Like where I had to go to the person,
Yeah.
like very, very close to when it happened.
Right.
Um, so I may forgive them long run. I just don't know if I could forgive them short term, I guess is the
Mm.
better way of putting it.
Well, that's a little bit harder because when the feelings are raw, it's kind of hard to go that route for
Yeah.
sure.
I've seen like feelings are a very, like we all have very, very deep feelings.
Feelings. Yes.
Very deep though, for whatever. I'll give you an example. My oldest daughter and her mom had issues.
Okay.
The best way of putting it. Um, they had a differences of agreements on a lot of things. And I'm talking from when she was young
Hmm.
to when she was married and had a child. Okay. So it was like she went to the
A
military.
lifetime.
It was not a lifetime, but it was a lot of years. It was like from, let's say 16, 15 to like, 30 something,
Yeah.
that they had issues with each other. They were just different people. But there was a I don't want to say I know the whole story, but I know something that happened that was my daughter got mad because her mom never came to visit out of state, and she was close several times where she could have,
Mm.
but didn't because she was doing something with her husband's family. Okay. And
Oh.
look, I can understand being hurt and whatever that is. And I think that that was fair. They didn't talk to each other, I would say at least 3 or 4 years. I mean, and I'm talking zero communication, none.
Hmm.
And then I remember talking to both of them because I still have a relationship with my daughters, my stepdaughters. So I remember talking to her and I said, look, you know, you should probably reach out. And of course she said no. And then I had talked to her mom because of course my son was much younger. So I was talking to his mom all the time. And I said the same to her, you should probably reach out. And she said, no, I'm not going to do that. So both of them were doing the exact same thing, would not
Hmm.
reach out to each other. So I had the bright idea because, some people don't want to start with a talk. It's just not a good idea because people explode, right? Something is
Right.
said and then it goes sideways and you can't get back on the road because people are just pissed off at each other. Like
Right.
any good argument. That happens all the time. So I told my ex-wife, I said, look, maybe you should write her a letter. Because if you write her, it's days to get there. She has to read it. It'll soak in a little bit, whatever. Like it won't be as like punch you in the face of just calling somebody. Because people don't know how to handle, seeing a phone call out of nowhere with a number that you haven't talked to in quite a while. And I told my daughter to do the same. I said, you should probably write her a letter. Like, probably a good idea. My ex-wife ended up writing one. It got to my daughter. My daughter ended up writing one to her as well. And they started talking. I can't tell you who called each other because I don't know. But they reached out to each other.
So both letters were received well.
They were received. Look, I think there was, that's a lot of years and a lot of pent up shit.
Mm-hmm.
So they were received, but they were received good enough to put an olive branch out.
Right.
Which I thought, hey, this is awesome because at the time, my daughter had a very young child, right? And I kind of said that to my ex-wife. I said, you understand that you're a grandma and that's your grandkid.
Right.
Like, do you want to see him? Because if you don't, it's a good way of fucking it up. Which is kind of a funny thing because there's kind of a side story with my mom and my son that I'll get to in a second. So anyway, they basically ended up starting to talk to each other. My ex-wife visited. They stay in contact with each other. Do they have the greatest relationship in the world? No, they don't. But they have a relationship, which I think is positive. I'll give you an example with me that kind of the same thing that happened with me. My mom did not like the name that we were going to name my son. I think I told this story before.
You did.
But, she just wasn't having it. And my brother didn't help it because he said something about the name to my mom and it just got out of control. My mom ended up sending me a baby book or like a book that I had as a child, but a new version of it with the name that she liked in it. And my ex-wife lost her shit.
What was the name?
It's my name.
Oh.
It was my name. She wanted me to name him Rob.
After you. Okay.
Well, yeah, or after my dad, because I'm not a junior, but I'm named after my father.
Right.
And my son's middle name is Rob or Robert, named after my dad. Right. So and that's why I didn't name him after me. I named him after my dad because my dad means the world to me. So my mom wrote this other name in there and my ex-wife lost her shit and she should have. Fair enough. I thought that was a very fair thing. She's right. My mom should not have done that. It's not. So I ended up talking to my mom and, look, moms will always talk to you like you're a child, no matter your age. My son was born. I was 31 years old. I had to tell my mom very harshly that I didn't give a shit what she thought. And I said, that's your grandson. And if you ever want to see him, you'll call him by his name. And that's it. And I left it at that. And I said, nice talking to you. Gotta go. And I let it stew. And my mom called me back and said, you're 100% correct. That's my grandkid. It's not my child. I will love him no matter what his name is. And I said, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. And my mom came out because she lived in Iowa at the time and saw her grandkid and melted and cried and said she was very sorry to both me and my wife And
Mm.
because life, that's life altering. This is your
Mhm.
grandchild. And I said, so when that happened, I kind of reminded my ex-wife. I said, yeah, do you want to see your grandkid? You have to reach out. So that was forgiveness. Now, is it the range of forgiveness that they're like the greatest, you know, two on wheels? No, but they have a relationship. And I think that's important, mostly as me and my ex-wife get older, right?
Mhm.
We have less years than more. So, you know, that's your mom, that's her grandmother. This is, you know, this is life. This is real life now. So, forgiveness is important when it comes to a lot of things. And generally, I think family is one of them because I've lived it and I've seen it. I was lucky when I got divorced. Me and I made sure I kept relations with my stepdaughters, even though me and my middle girl, my youngest daughter, didn't really get along very well. We got along, but not very well. But I still made sure that, you know, I raised them both. They're mine. Right.
Mhm.
So, you know, I wasn't going to just disappear because of that, which is, I think, a form of forgiveness to everyone. It's like, this is that. I'm sorry we didn't work out. Me and your mom didn't work out, but, and I think that that's important. Forgiveness is important when it comes to family and years not being around the corner. We have less now. And I'm glad that has a relationship with her grandkid. It's
Mhm.
important because there's only one right now. I mean, obviously my son's only 23, so she could have another one, but middle child didn't have any kids. So, you know, that theoretically could be the only grandchild she ever meets because my
Very
son's,
true.
you know, 20 something. Maybe he doesn't get married till he's 30 and she's 5 years older than me. She'll be in her 60s, whatever the thing is. So this is where I think forgiveness is so important. You know, romantic relationships, you can tell people to fuck off and it's okay. And you don't have to forgive them.
Mhm.
That's just the truth. And
Mhm.
not that I'm saying you should do that, because I don't think you should. But I can see there where it can be, you know, divorce does crazy shit to you, right?
It does.
It makes you think different ways. It makes you I don't want to say hateful because I don't want to use that word, but it's the only one that I can kind of say it that way. I don't mean it that way, but it'll make you very, you know, it'll just make you standoffish and not want to deal with the person that you were with.
Right.
So like that's one that I would say is very important. Like, what about you? Do you think that like there's certain relationships that you should always try to forgive?
Yeah, I don't know. I think the jury is still out. I don't know. I, there's some relationships that I've had that I don't ever want to step back into, but
Yeah.
I'm not harboring any resentments towards anybody.
Right.
For me, like after a spell, it just becomes indifference. I just don't care, and I'm over it, and I don't want to keep like soiling my life
Mm-hmm.
with old bullshit that has been done and over for 100 years. I don't I don't wish anybody any ill will, but I definitely don't want certain people in my world.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't know. I think that sometimes people just push me too far. I could take a lot, but at some point I'm just like, yeah, no, I think I'm good. I just can't do this anymore. And I
But
don't.
but is that after you've tried, or is that just because time has changed things?
Well, I had a cousin that that really did me dirty back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
And we had a falling out. I was almost arrested.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because and you know me, it takes like a lot for me to get to that level.
Right.
But she told me the stupid shit that she did to me years before in a cop bar, and she had been drinking, and I don't really drink, so when she told me, I started to cry, and she's called me. She said, "Oh, don't start this now. It's not like you ever cared." And I went into the bathroom, and when I went in there, I don't know what happened, but she walked in with me. We got in a physical altercation. I was put in the back of the cop car. I was with my
shit.
mom and her mom, and my mom was like, "Shut up." She was like, "Fuck that." I went off. I was screaming. I wasn't quite 21. I got arrested in a cop bar. I was like, "I'm going to bring this whole place down." I lost my shit. I have never lost my shit the way I lost my shit that day. And my mom was like, "Shut the fuck up, Tina." She's smoking a cigarette outside the cop car. There's a lot of commotion going on. They bring in an ambulance to take care of my former cousin. Yeah, it was a shit show. I got out of it though because I wasn't 21, and I don't know what my aunt pulled, but things were taken care of. Anyway,
Right.
I didn't talk to her or her mom for like 16, 18, 20 years, something like that. And then her mom begged me to talk to her, and I was like, "No, because you knew of this too, and you didn't protect me. You weren't being my aunt, you know." So she begged me, and I forgave her for it. We had a long conversation. She understood me, I understood her, and we were good. But I don't have anything to say to my cousin. I don't have anything that I want to do for my I just don't want her here. I remember when we were having problems with my mom, she was like, "Well, I'm going to come out and I'm going to find out what's going on." And I said to my dad, "Send her out here, Dad, because I need somebody to fuck up." My dad called her and said, "The last thing you should do right now is come over here because my daughter will kill you, and it's none of your business. It's family stuff." Yeah. So that's where I ended things. I don't need to talk to her. I don't need to see her. I don't need to do I don't care about her and her shenanigans. She's not the type of person that I've ever really liked. She's always had a lot of jealousy towards me. And I didn't even understand why, because I would have given her anything she wanted. People just, when they're young and stupid, they have a certain feel, and I won't go back to that relationship. Right. I don't need to. We live far enough away. I don't have to, and I just plain don't care.
Right. So, but there was no forgiveness there. There was just lack of caring.
There was. There was forgiveness because we've had to be in the same room, and she's lucky I didn't fuck her up again, because truly the way I feel about her is
that's like not forgiveness.
She's just a whipping post at this point to me. And so do I forgive her? No, I just don't. I tolerate her.
That's what I mean. So this is the one that isn't.
I don't hold animosity towards her either. I'm just done.
You can do both though. You can not forgive somebody and not give a shit about them. Those walk hand in hand sometimes. They're like
have to
good
tell
friends.
You that whole story because it's way better.
Yeah. That's a Chi-Chi's. That's a Chi-Chi's day.
That's a Chi-Chi's story. Yes.
But so like for me, I see that as I don't have to forgive you, but I can forget about you, and it's not a big deal. Because when I moved out of my house, or my family home is the best way of putting it, I guess. I moved in with my best friend and a guy I worked with. Well, that guy ended up stealing money from me and my buddy and not paying the rent. And I literally took a bat to his furniture when he was moving it out.
Oh, shit.
Yeah, he's lucky I didn't take it to him.
Yeah, I was going to say, would have been better had you hit him with it.
Probably, but I probably would have went to jail. So it's probably better I didn't. But it was funny because my best friend, who I've known since I was, 13 years old. And this is at 22-ish. And I think I even shocked him when he saw the rage that was in me.
Mhm.
He was like, oh shit. And I was like, fuck that shit. I go, he can take his shit and he can get out of here, but it's going to be in pieces. And I went to work on this shit. His bedroom furniture. And I mean, I was swinging for the fences. But at the end of the day, I didn't forgive him, but I just forgot about him because I had to worry about life because we got evicted.
Yeah.
I had to move on. So
Right.
I can understand I didn't forgive him, but I forgot him and I don't think about that shit. And I saw him at the Northridge Mall years later on the escalator.
Did he run from you?
No, because he was going down, I was going up, but I saw him. I gave him like, hey, I know who the fuck you are. And at that point, I was like, 250 pounds and like, I was a lot bigger. I was wrestling at the time and I was like, yeah, I see you. And he just kept on, didn't even stop.
Keeping
Yeah,
on.
I'm sure he was looking behind him because, but I was married at the time and I had already moved on in life, but I gave him just so you know, fool, like this could have happened.
Yeah.
So to me, forgiveness, it's difficult. Forgiving someone is very, very difficult once they hurt you so bad that you see them in such a different light.
Mm-hmm.
I've had a few girlfriends that I thought, wow, like that hurt me pretty good. But like I said, I think a lot of that stuff you can push on yourself as well, like looking back. But at the time I was like, man, like, I don't get it. Like I was trying, but it was already past that. So, I didn't forgive one until recently.
Wow.
Yeah. Because I told you, I tried to find all the people that I've kind of had issues with or thought I did dirty or things didn't work out right. And kind of like, hey, let's break bread and, really talk about what happened. So I got to do that. And I totally forgave this person because I didn't know certain things and I didn't, things just move forward and sometimes so fast that you both are living and not that you don't forget it, but you just kind of go, okay, life has to keep going and they're doing their thing and I'm doing my thing. And many, many, many years later, you find a way to like weave in and out. And the funny thing is that this was like July. This was like, I hadn't talked to this person in 20 something years. And I didn't see them until July when I just happened to have shoulder surgery. So I had time to actually sit and talk with this person. Pretty wild. But I forgave her for not telling me, not really for what happened, because what happened was kind of like up in the air anyway. I got to hear that story and we both kind of went, oh, this is what happened. And I went, well, this is how I felt and blah, blah, blah. So there was a form of forgiveness. We didn't owe each other that. But I was just like, okay, I was wrong and I thought something different. And I think sometimes forgiveness heals the person hearing it. If you can forgive somebody, you're healing yourself.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Because I think that you kind of go, and there's this big weight off your shoulders of what you thought something was or they thought something was. And you realize that you're both wrong. It was really never like that. And you probably should have forgave each other, a year later. I wish I could have talked to this person a year later and just kind of heard like, oh, this is what really happened and blah, blah, blah. And I think things would have been easier to let go of and forgive because you just don't know. But that just wasn't meant to be.
Yep.
And then, unfortunately, sometimes things happen and people die and you can't forgive them. Or you
Yeah,
can't. It's rough.
that's the only thing we talked about it last week on the episode is death is the only thing you cannot fix, you cannot change, you cannot work on, you cannot it's a wrap. You know, I think we were
That's
talking
true.
it's a wrap.
Fucking Hollywood, baby. It's a wrap.
I think we were talking about my mom and
Mhm.
and when she died, that's when I realized there's no more fixing things. You have to work on yourself, obviously. You have to work through whatever it is that you have left over, but you can't just pick up the phone and say, you know, I'm sorry or I love you or
Yep.
that's when it's over. And what a shame to wait that long because normally life with life with my mom, we fought like cats and dogs often. And we said some pretty shitty shit to each other. But
Mhm.
at the same time, like that was still my mom and we could work through it and go through it. And then, you know, we were right back to being mother-daughter. I don't think that ever stopped the being mother-daughter, but you know, being a mom and being a daughter, like you could really hate on each other for a while, but
Oh, absolutely.
we didn't let it go too long and we gave each other a lot of grace because we both were not perfect and we both needed to work through things and there was shit on both sides. And when she died, I am grateful that I felt like I gave it my all because I couldn't fix anything else. Like I couldn't take it back. I couldn't,
Right.
just couldn't.
Yeah. And look, I think the family, like we were talking about earlier, the family dynamic definitely changes things. You know,
Mhm.
look, it's father, son, mother, daughter, you know, mom, son, you know, family. It means something. I've had a lot
Mhm.
of run-ins with my kid, mostly as he got older.
Or you're supposed to.
Yeah, and his testosterone is through the roof. So he's, you know, he has his issues.
Right.
Um, but I try to rectify these things because he's going to leave at some point, and then I won't have to worry about fighting him, but I won't have him to fight with.
Yeah.
Look, I there was things I think that I've probably could have talked to my mom about. We really cut bread a lot.
Yeah.
Once we started doing the podcast, my mom like would message me or we'd Skype and my mom would be like, I didn't know that about you. I was like,
I
oh,
loved when you would tell me about that
yeah.
though.
And
I
she'd do it
loved
all the
it.
time. Like,
Yeah.
I had no clue about that. I'm like, well, yeah, mom, I'm a grown ass man. Why am I'm not going to come to you and talk to you about this or that.
Yeah.
But so I feel I got a lot out with my mom and she told me things and I told her things and she knew about relationship things and people I liked. And I talked to my mom. Because she was an easy one to just kind of chat with.
Spill the beans with.
Yeah. And she never judged me. I mean, at least not to my face. I'm sure she did behind. But so for me, that's good. But like my old tag team partner, like that I wrestled with for years, you know, we lost touch and then he died.
Yeah.
And I felt kind of bad because he would call me every blue moon, but he'd call me fucked up and high and like try to talk to me. And it was hard because like I wanted to help him. And there was times I told him like, I'll help you, but you need to want help. And then he kind of just disappeared and it got worse and he died. And I didn't forgive myself for a long time that I didn't reach out and I didn't keep trying.
Mm-hmm.
And it took me a few years to forgive myself for not doing that. And thankfully, I heard other stories from other people in our group. He would do the same to them and they would have to like tell him like I can't help you because you don't want it.
Yeah.
So for me, you know, sometimes forgiveness comes from within. And
it always does. Absolutely does.
but I mean, to forgive yourself sometimes, forgiving someone else is different because you're looking at their feelings and what they did. When
Mhm.
it's an internal thing of what you did, it's hard because you can't run from yourself. You can run from other people. Fuck, I didn't talk to somebody for 29 years.
Mhm.
I know it was easy.
Yeah.
Looking in the mirror is a whole other thing. And uh,
Well,
mhm,
we're the hardest on ourselves. So
mhm,
of course that, that forgiving yourself is going to be the hardest thing that you could do.
yeah,
Absolutely.
it's sucky. And
Yeah.
and every time, so that's kind of why I started reaching out to people that I thought I did dirty. After he
Mm.
passed away, I was like, well, got to find this person. I got to find this person. I got to find this person. And I told you I found all but one. And I
Wow.
believe they're in Ventura, I think.
That's
I've
not
looked them up
far.
recently, but see, here's the thing is it's a girl. So finding a girl is sometimes difficult because of last name change.
Okay.
So you kind of have to like scour the internet sometimes and it's just dead ends certain places. But
Interesting.
yeah, I mean, I'm doing my best to just, I want the latter years of my life to be as easy as they can be.
Yeah.
And, that I forgave everyone. Like I, I had to give forgiveness to my father. When I came back from Vegas, I mean, I had a place to live. It just wasn't ready yet. And I stayed with my best friend for a month, and that was the greatest party ever, the best,
Mhm.
greatest 30 days of my life. We just had a great time as friends. And I lived with my dad for 30 days until my place was ready. And I had to I had to give him forgiveness. I was like, look, I'm sorry I did this, and this.
Mhm.
I should have been a better son. I should have did this. I should have did that. And it was great because my dad forgave me. And it was like, I did the same speech with my dad, and this isn't anything new. And your boy will do it with you at some point if something happens. And
Oh yeah.
that's just life. But I'm glad I did that with my dad because I felt not that we didn't have a relationship, but it was definitely damaged when I left. And I
Mm.
wanted to make sure that the next time I had a chance to really solidify it, I did. And I think that
Good.
like like with you, I think that, your dad's at an age and my dad's at an age where we need to solidify that relationship
Mhm.
and make sure they know that this and that, and you mean this, and I did that, whatever it is, whatever your thing is.
Yeah.
And I think that I hope my son thinks the same way about me,
Yeah.
that at some point he can come to me and he's really open with me. And he's said things to me. He goes like, you're a good dad. And like anything you fuck up. And I was like, yeah, you're right. I've been by
Mm.
myself and it was hard. And thankfully he gives me that grace to say, yeah, I understand why.
Mhm.
And, when he leaves, I'm hoping it's on a good thing. And I don't have to worry about like him leaving angry. It'll be like, cool, I'll help you move and we'll do this. And it's a joyous occasion.
Yeah.
But I hope he always knows that he can come back to me and say, hey, this, or hey, this. And no different than, your daughter or my daughters, or, you know, I have a friend who has kids and she has had issues. One didn't, I mean, I haven't talked to her in quite a while, but her daughter wasn't talking to her over a man she was with. And
Mm.
it killed her. I mean, she would talk to me about it and it was like it would turn her stomach. Like because she couldn't see her grandkids. And
Mm.
it hurt her. And I'm hoping, and I don't know, probably should at least reach out to her to say, hey, I hope things are going well. But yeah, so like a relationship with your family can take everything out of you. So
Even if you are like, okay, so I live with my dad, and my dad didn't know half of the shit that I did. I tell him stories now and he's like, how did I not know that? I'm like, I don't know, mom did, or mom picked me up, or we've gone over and over. But now he looks at these stories. I tell him the stories because I don't have anything to hide. It's like, what are you gonna do? Ground me now? Like, go ahead.
Right.
So now I tell him stories and he's like, holy crap, you went through that? And I'm like, yeah. And my dad looks at me and he has even said, like, my daughter, she's going to go through whatever she's going to go through. She probably won't say anything to me, but I'll see her struggle. But I always see her triumph. I always see her get through it. I always, when she tells me she's going to do something, I already know she's got it planned out and she's probably halfway through it because
Right.
that's my daughter. He doesn't hold grudges. I mean, we've gotten into arguments about things and I'm like, Buck, Dad, what, and he said, if you don't like it, leave. And I go, okay, I'll leave. And then who's going to help you? Like,
Right.
so quit being like that. And it kills the fight. We don't fight any more than that. It doesn't have to be so all or nothing, and with him, it's just not. We argue, we get over it. He knows I got his back. He tells everybody I've saved his life 7 times. Like, how could he possibly be mad at me for a long period of time when I've been the one that's done
Right.
that, over the
Exactly.
course of our lives together. So, but I think it's harder when you're raising the child that is your same gender. I think it's harder that way. Like, my brother and my dad had a harder time when they were younger,
Sure.
and my mom and I had a harder time our whole lives together. Like, we
Right.
did.
No, I agree with that.
She taught me how to be exactly like her. Then she got mad when I was. So that was kind of a funny thing. And she did right before she passed. There was just a lot going on in my life and I had had a surgery and she was just trying to, at that point, I think she was just trying to connect with me. And we had some really good talks, but at the time I didn't know that those were going to be my last ones because I think I would have said things a little bit differently or like,
Right.
maybe let her off the hook a little bit more. Not that what I was saying was a lie, because I didn't have to lie to her. We had enough where we could just go toe to toe on the facts and did.
And that
so,
was it.
What's that?
And that was it.
And that was it.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, like, she told me, she goes, I don't care what anybody says. I don't care what anybody does. You and your brother are me. You come from me. You are me. And if they don't like you, they don't like me. And that's the stance that she took with everything when she was clear-headed. Now, when, at the end of her life, when she was having problems with all the drugs and the brain aneurysm and everything, she wasn't quite the same. But a couple weeks before she passed, she was clear enough that we could have a conversation that it healed me. Before she even passed, like, I knew it was coming. I knew that she wasn't going to be on this earth forever. I could feel her. I wasn't expecting her that day, though. I wasn't expecting to walk in and find her dead. That was one of, like, I don't normally get very surprised by people, but I would say that was by far the biggest surprise I ever got from one person in one day, was that she was gone. But, so grateful that even though we didn't see eye to eye on everything and she wasn't always completely together at the end of her life, I'm glad that we had that time because we fixed things and it made it easier to let go. And, that wasn't easy. That wasn't an easy day. But I'm glad we had the time and I'm glad that she knew I loved her and I'm glad that I know that she loved me. And we didn't have to be perfect. That's the cool thing about moms and kids is that nobody has to be perfect. Just got to show up. You know what I mean? It's like, because nobody is. And kids
and generally,
don't.
And when you try, you fail to be perfect.
Yeah. It's like, because perception's a bitch. And what I'm seeing and what I'm doing may look perfect. But if you look from the north, it could be a totally different perception.
Right.
And I don't know, you just got to find grace. You got to find grace. That's all there is to it. Like I'm grateful that I found grace with my mom. I'm grateful she found it with me. I cherish a lot of memories, and there's a lot I'd still rather forget because they were hard. They were rough,
Right.
and they didn't leave us exactly feeling happy. But life isn't always perfect. Life isn't always bad. It's a combination of both. And like you said, if you have grace and you get through certain things, like it's way better. It's way better than um it's way better than not. It just is.
Do you find yourself looking back now, forgiving your mom for all the, quote unquote bad times?
Well, I don't know that I really held her in that high of a, like, where it was that. Fuck. When I was born, my mom was 19 years old. There were so many things she didn't know what she was doing when we were younger. And
Right.
she was
She
not a
just
perfect
did.
person by any means. I
Yeah.
mean, I'm not going to throw shit on my mom, but
No, but young
she wasn't
moms,
perfect.
young
But
moms, all young
moms are a
moms
rip, man.
it's difficult. I don't
Yes.
care how good of a mom you ended up being. Most young moms, there's turmoil. There
Yeah.
just is, because you don't know what the fuck you're doing.
Yeah.
For me though, like I forgave my mom before she passed.
Yeah.
And she didn't have a lot of bad times. I mean, all in all, I would say my mom was great because she knew that my dad would raise us better and a bunch of
Yeah.
other things. But at the end of the day, like, I forgave my mom for whatever bad she did long before. So thankfully, it was just like we had a great relationship when she passed away. And it was kind of the same with you. Like, my mom was sick. She had, what do you call it?
COPD.
CPOD or whatever it is. So I knew she was sick, but I didn't think she'd die, not
Yeah.
that quickly. So,
Yeah.
when I got the call from my brother, like, yeah, it was one of those things where, like, it was a shock, but it wasn't. It was one of those things where, like, yeah, I knew it was going to come,
Yeah.
but
I don't,
huh?
because my mom had the brain aneurysm, I think that was her ticket to acting however the hell she wanted to, and us having to forgive her. Because in our family, there is no like, fuck you, I'm never going to speak to you again, and then run away. We all stuck
Right.
around. We all did what we needed to do. But it was hard. It was hard because she really did some shitty things at the end of her life that I look at it now and I'm like, fuck mom, that wasn't cool.
Right.
That I found out something just the other day and I was like, damn,
See,
that's not cool, mom.
isn't that
But
wild though? When you find out
yeah,
shit like
way later. Yeah.
years
Yeah.
after, you're like, what? And they're like, oh yeah,
Yep.
you didn't know about your mom? I'm like, no. Like,
But
oh yeah.
then, it's the same thing. Like in my family with the four of us, my brother and myself and my mom and my dad, there was no holding grudges. Like you had to get along, you had to make it work. We didn't talk about it outside of our circle. It stayed more private. And no, what's funny is I went to a psychic a few years after my mom had passed because I was really struggling to deal with some things that she had said and done. And I was going through my own master life change. Like there was huge change at that point coming on. And the psychic said to me out of nowhere, because I didn't even know if I was going to get a reading. The psychic looked right at me and she said, your mom loves you and there's no resentments. You were the best daughter she could have ever had. And anything that you're holding on to, you need to let go of because you guys are like on a perfect slate right now. Just let it go. And I was like, well, I don't have to listen to anything else anymore because I guess, now that she's healthy minded, and she could see, great. But it did let me off the hook. It did. Because I don't like having things looming over my head. I really don't. I try to, as best I could, minimize it.
Right.
Not that that's always the easiest thing to do. And I have not yet even begun to master it, but I really do try. And the life that I have now is so different. Like I'm not I'm not the same person when my mom was alive.
Right.
Not
Right.
even. She's been gone almost 15 years. It'll be 15 years in July. And my brother and I, we are in a different place. We have the best relationship I've ever had with him ever. My dad's relationship and I is still as good as it's always been. Um, it's cool having grown up, and it's cool having gone through what we went through and still loving on each other. My brother and I've had some rip roaring fights like brothers and sisters do, where we just tore each other to bits.
Mm-hmm.
But I'll also hear him say, if I'm in a dark alley and people are rushing me, I hope my sister is standing beside me, because she'll make sure I get out of all that,
Well, because there's been a lot of forgiveness over the years.
Well, and he's my key to my whole life.
Yeah.
He was there.
You guys have
he was there today. You know what I mean?
You guys have a very interesting relationship. Being around you is kind of interesting, fun.
Is it? How so?
It's just funny to see how you're not the same, yet you're the same. And the shit talking that is done is absolutely top notch. And you can tell that it's out of love. You know what I mean? Like, he'll say something to you we were the time I was over fixing the microphones, and I remember he said something, and I remember I was looking at the computer and I giggled, and I was like, I was waiting for something crazy to happen, and I was like, oh, this is just the way this is. It's just the way they are. And it's kind of like me and my best friend. Like, we say unruly, horribly bad things to each other. Like, I said something to him one time, and his soon-to-be wife looked at me and then looked at him and then looked at me, and I was like, you better get used to this. It's worse than that. And she was like, oh, and he goes, yeah, it's going to get a lot worse. And I was like, okay, cool.
My brother and I, we do not talk right to each other. Like so the other day I said, hey, I said to him, hey, I made something and I stuck it in the fridge, and he's all, I stuck your mom in the fridge. And we just laughed and kept rolling. Like the mom jokes in this relationship are they're out there. But yeah, we do say inappropriate stuff, and it is really funny. I remember I was just telling my cousin the other day, my cousin came to visit, and he and I have always been very, very tight. And he came over, and I said, hey, you need to put this was years ago. It was the day we got my mom's ashes, to be exact. And he was over, and I said, hey, so-and-so, you need to put some lotion on your elbows. They're ashy. And before he could think about what he was going to say, he said, your mom's ashy. And everybody that was in the room was like, horrified that he had said that. And I paused for a second, and I couldn't help but laugh. And I was thinking, okay, you're really wrong for laughing. But I started laughing, and then you could hear everybody go, and then start laughing themselves, because that was the best mom joke I've ever heard, right?
Because it's funny. I mean, it's wrong, but it's wrong, but it's funny.
We all looked at the box like she's sitting on our kitchen table, and here we are, like, your mom's ashy. But that's my brother and I's inappropriateness with each other. That's how we are. That's how my cousin is with me. That's how my friends are. We have a sick sense of humor. We all have known each other 100 years, and that's how we get along. And God, I love having friends that don't judge that. Mm-hmm. Or they understand that nobody has to be perfect. Like my friends now, I'm saying, I'm not going to judge you. I want to hear all of everything you have to tell me. And I'm just not going to judge you, so that you have somebody that you could talk to, and I get a good story. So make it really good. If you're going to fuck up, like, make it good.
Right.
And I'm grateful that I live amongst people that don't feel the need to have to be perfect, because that takes so much work, and I'm not even close to being perfect, nor do I want to be. I kind of like who I am now. Actually, I'm really liking who I am now. I dig it. Like, I have a great relationship with my ex-husband. Tell me one person that thought I would ever be able to do that. And that
Yeah.
took forgiveness from both of us, and it took a lot of love and admiration, but it also took us being really solid people
Mm-hmm.
to be able to let go like that.
Yeah,
So,
don't get too into that. We're going to do a show with him.
yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
let's
not
see how
ruin the
that
show
goes.
now.
Yeah, let's see how that
But
goes.
it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah.
I
But
mean, like you guys forgave each other so much that he's going to sit down with a microphone in front of him and talk about how your relationship with each other works today. That's
yeah, and
pretty
he
big.
came up with that. I didn't.
Yeah.
I wasn't like I was asking him to come and do the podcast with us. As a matter of fact, he says he doesn't even he's only watched one of them that he's conceded to. I
Mm-hmm.
would venture to say he hasn't told me the complete truth, but I don't know him to be a liar either.
I would probably say that he has listened to more than one. Now, him saying that he hasn't listened to complete shows, that could be true.
Yeah, because he's really good at changing the verbiage so that he's not completely not telling the truth. He'll find the
Correct.
loophole. Yeah, he's good for that.
Right.
But nonetheless, like, as far as I'm concerned, I will definitely tap both of us on the back for being able to do that. Like, until you've lived with somebody for that long and you've blown up your life and you've become friends again, like, don't even try to judge me, because I got one on everybody. I don't know people that do that very often and
Yeah.
still love each other. I mean, I will say that I still love that guy. I don't want to live with him. I don't want to go back to having a relationship with him, but we have a relationship. We have a really good friendship, and I do love him, and I am there for him, and he is there for me. And isn't that how it's supposed to be? You know, evolve and change and grow and get past all the petty shit you couldn't do. I don't know. So when I want to forgive, I'm great at it. But when I don't want to forgive, I won't even look at it. Like,
Yeah.
I think that's everybody, though. It's not just me.
No, I don't think so. I think there's a lot of people that you can have forgiveness and be okay with it and forgive, and you can not forgive and be okay with it. It just matters who, what, and where. That's it. I mean, I would say the best thing for your internal being is to try to forgive who you can, because then it just makes things a little easier. You know what I mean? Like, at least for me, I kind of look at it from the standpoint of, if I'm good with most people, or people that I thought did me dirty or vice versa, and I can be good with them, I sleep better at night. That's it.
Yeah. I just, we're at an age where, like, life isn't all that important to be that frustrated or pissed off or unhappy with somebody. It's like, now I'm all, I don't need you around, but I'm not going to put a lot of thought into you either. I'm not even going to get myself that worked up.
Right.
And I'm going to be
agree.
happy. I'm going to be happy nonetheless, because I really did work hard to be happy. So
I just think that if you can wake up in the morning and be okay with life, and again, forgiving yourself for what you can,
yeah,
it's a lot easier to be okay. Look, we all want to have the best lives we can. But some people bring it down,
yeah,
right? Try not to, but do your best to just get up in the morning, be happy for what you have and for the people that are important in your life. And you can only do so much.
Absolutely.
You know, if you've forgiven, I think that, you know, God is the guy that's going to be like, he forgave everyone. He's good, and move on.
One would hope.
Yes, ma'am. So in the end, do your best to forgive people. Like, we're all human. We all fuck up. Bad shit happens. You know, better at the end of the day to not die or have friends or family die and not fix things. It's hard enough. It's just hard. Like I said, I tell you, I've had, you know, someone die and it killed me for a lot of years. So I don't want to do that again. So
No. You know what? Now that I'm an adult and I've grown up and grown through a bunch of things, I always try to let people know how much they mean to me. And when I tell them that, I go, and when I'm dead, don't even question it, right? Because I've told you now, right? And I think I started that when my mom passed, because I think she left some things unsaid. And over the years, you know, people have come to me and told me things. And I'm like, oh, come on. She totally loved you. Like she did.
right.
And it brings peace to people. So if you could do it and be good with everybody that means something to you, you really should, because otherwise you're just going to live with a bunch of hurt. And man, as you get older, you've had enough hurt. You really don't want to keep getting it. Like at some point you learn, right? Like at some point
Yeah,
you got to stop that.
totally agree.
Well,
Well, that being said, I think we are done for the week.
we are.
It's been an amazing show generally. And check us out on all the social medias. I've been posting a lot more now, so you'll know when the show comes out. Make sure you're sharing with other people. Thankfully, all these people were insanely close to 10,000 downloads.
Hey.
Yeah, we're at like, let's see, like less than 90.
Wow, we're getting there.
Yeah, so I would say before the end of this month, maybe even next week, we might be close.
We're going to have to
So
go out and celebrate.
that we will. And it's an opinion show. Don't get it twisted. Keep coming back every Wednesday. For Tina, I'm Rob. We will see you in a week. Bye.
See ya.